According to your dictionary, rat rod definition. A style of hot rod or custom car that imitates or exaggerates the hot rods of the 1940s, 1950s, and 1960s. It is distinct from the traditional hot rod, which is an accurate recreation or period-correct restoration of a hot rod from the same era.
Right, welcome back. Based on the Google concept of a rat rod and the fact that I have no money whatsoever and that buying sheets of aluminium ain't got the money for, and let's face it, we're about recycling at the moment. That's what everything is going on in this country. Fenders, wings, call them what you like. How do I get around this? That's what I've been asking myself. Okay, you need to keep an open mind on this. Yeah, one of my crazy ideas again. The bumperettes that I've got on here, you haven't seen those yet. You might have done in a previous episode from way back, like 3 years ago, if your memory's good, but you haven't seen these, so they're going. The bull bar, we're going to drop that down a little lower, if we even keep it. And the Morris Minor wings, remember them? Whew. I hope you're ready for this. I personally like what I'm looking at. There you go. That's what I'm thinking of doing. That's crazy, isn't it? I am thinking about bringing the headlights back to their original position. So now I've got an English wheel, I can muck about with this. So we may bring them back to here. So we might get the plasma cutter, cut that bit all out, get rid of all of this bit here, and then bring them forward to there. If I can grind down, I mean, this is pretty messed up here, but if we can grind that all down, there's filler everywhere. We can get rid of that and grind the welds down. We might be able to put that on the English wheel and get those creases out a little bit as well. I also would like to cut that bit here out, get rid of that, and create a piece to go around. That may get made out of aluminium because it's just easier to work with. That bead roll, that English wheel is very difficult on steel. It's not undoable, but it's a lot easier with Ali, and I could always rivet that on. There is a theme of rivets going on this anyway. Right, so I was up 7 o'clock this morning, found myself in London by 10 o'clock in the morning. Should have been an hour and 20-minute drive, but they shut at least 10 mile of that blasted road off at 40 mile an hour just to replace the centre barriers. And they've only done about 2 miles so far out of the 10 on both sides. So they just did one side from what I could pick up on. Ridiculous. Anyway, I got down there, paid me 20 quid, got me Volkswagen Beetle wings. I ain't sure about this. I might have made a journey for nothing. I've tried lower points. I've taped off. They're the tyres that I want on eventually. I've tried every which way, can't get them to work. I've even raised them, which has now hidden my louvers and my other little features that I wanted to show off. I'm genuinely, I'm stuck. It looks like a 2CV on steroids. For any of you Canadians, Americans who don't know what one of those are. Actually pretty good vehicles for the day they were made. They were made for farmers in mind, but they ain't where I was going, or one of them Kriegsmarine Volkswagen things. I don't know what to do. I am genuinely stuck. I've tried the Morris Minors. I didn't want to put flat mud guards on because it would make it look too military, but the problem I've got now, I may have done a good job, so it's, 20 of you guys reckon I've done a good job. I'm sort of half and half on that one, but anyway, the bonnet is very long still. That was my issue before I did all of this, but the thing is, it's also very skinny now, and I'm not feeling that shape is working with those mud guards because it's very long and square, even though it's got curves. So my thoughts are now, maybe don't bother with those, don't bother with the Morris Minors. A bit late anyway, I chopped them up. Maybe we should build a wing somewhere along the line and square it off, curve the metal around the outside edges to give it some shape and some substance, but maybe a set of wings coming off. We could come off where that bumper is there, we could go up a little bit and then raise it and then go across and then go down. So up, 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 down. Maybe. Mudguards finally decided what we're going to do about that. They're not going to work. They're not going to work, the old moggy ones, because of the shape. The nose is very skinny, very long and very square when you kind of look at the shape of it. Right, that bull bar's got to come off. I'm going to rearrange all of that, but I think we're just going to unbolt that and just take that out completely. Unfortunately, as you know, these won't work. Hell moggy wings are not really going to be suitable either. So we're going to have to come up with a mudguard system that's completely different from anything that I've been trying, and it's loosely based on modern side-by-side vehicles that you see, plus a little combination of World War II stuff. So bull bar gone. I cut that off. That's that was made for the previous attempt of body styling, and this is changing slightly, so I've removed it because it's messing up all the lines. I've marked a hole ready. I'm going to duplicate that on the other side. That is for the headlight part, so I'm going to measure that and I'm going to duplicate that on both sides because the holes are identical on the framework that I've started. Now, the framework. Doing these both at the same time. There's one, there is the other. To make sure they come out symmetrical, I decided that the headlights at least need to be built in at the same time. The holes need to be drilled in exactly the same spots. I've put one hole in the middle, and the purpose of that is so I can maneuver it around until I've got it at the angle that I want, because at the moment I still don't fully know where this is heading. And this is what I basically come up with. Okay, so that's the first stage. Still looks a bit weird, I don't mind admitting. There is the first stage of the side framework, which will now go dead flat almost across to there, and then it will go down. But the bit that's coming off of here is actually going to go up and then down. I'm going to put a natural kind of curve to both pieces, which are going to be an absolute nightmare to frame off. I still would like to try and use this edge, if I could, of these wings to weld in on that. So I might, I'm not saying I will, I might, another day. Never had wheel arches given me so much grief ever. Now, we've had that back end brought right in close and it doesn't look right. The problem, let me show you what I mean. Putting that there does that. Ugh. Putting it there puts a bit more body on it there. It fits the nose, that's the issue I've got. I can't raise it up any higher because I want to naturally flow off this edge here, and these will be in the way if I lift it up any higher. I can't go over and then down, it won't work, it doesn't look right. I wanted a bit more of a bump in the middle, so it looked like a shoulder blade type affair, but again, can't do it. You know the old saying, if at first you don't succeed, try again. That's what we teach our kids. I am so sick of hearing that now. I've done this so many times now that I just don't know the direction to go. I have one more idea, which I'm going to put to practice. So I'm going to cut the alley out now. I'm going to bend it and go from there. Once I have cut it and I'm satisfied, I'm going to continue that line on to about there, and then I'm going to go down to an angle with angle iron, and then here we'll come off with some tubing. So I've got to cut all of that off there and there. So we'll do a piece of tube there and go down, a piece of tube here, go across and go down. We'll try and meet it at the bottom. I may not fill that in. I think that would look quite good, having that area there exposed as a side. Yeah, we're going flat all the way. There's one piece of bar to go in here as well, just so as we can establish a fold line, and that's all I'm doing. Then we're going to fill in that triangle with some steel ready for the headlights. I can't think of nothing else. Nothing's working. Guys, just to spice this up a bit, I put some bead rolls in. Just to make it more utilitarian, I think is the term. But I know what's going wrong. It's this angle. It's the worst angle of the whole lot. And whatever I do, and I now know what it is, it's this door. It's that line there is messing everything up. So I'm kind of debating whether I put a bit of trim in there, going down halfway maybe, and then bringing it in, and then do a two-tone colour or something to sort of break everything up. That's kind of where my head's going with it. I haven't got any other ideas. So tomorrow we'll add some angle iron. So we'll cut that off. We'll angle iron. Hang on a minute. We'll angle iron across there and down, and then we'll tube it along there and down, blanket off there, cut a piece of tin out to fill in that area, and then we'll rivet this whole thing down, and that will be the first one done. I may cut this out here though, and then make up some kind of tube on the English wheel. And that's the other problem I'm having. My English wheel is not wide enough to accommodate this aluminium. That's why that piece went so tragically wrong. So it is what it is, isn't it? Anyway, till tomorrow. I've been battling my brains trying to figure out why the back end of that mudguard does not look right, and I think it's got a lot to do with the fact that I lack a sill. I made the thing too high, but I didn't make it high enough. How can I put it? Either needs to be lifted right up in the air or brought to that height or lower. I put that bit of wood in there just as an eyesight shot thing. That now works. I think it do anyway. The welding's a bit patchy, but it works. That's the top frame for the top part of that alley that's got to go on. It's all going to be riveted on. I do need to remove it and weld it up properly. At the moment it's just being held on, but the wing is fully removable, which is what I said I needed so I could get this thing out of the yard. Next thing is to do the side piece. Now late last night I did actually mould a piece of aluminium just to see what an arch would look like in that. I ain't sure that's going to work, but what will work is a piece of heavy duty steel which will give it a more of a rugged look, but I don't know if I can pull that off. Big old fat piece of tubing go in there, and we'll run it along and down and then under, and let it overhang a little bit at the bottom so I can join to that if I have to when it comes to doing the sliders. It's not there for protection as such, although it will give me some protection from being banged around. What I could do is run a piece of steel from here to there to support it, so if it gets a side impact on a tree or rocks or something, it should protect it a little bit, but it's not really, it's all sacrificial really. I'm only putting them on because the law, well, I say the law dictates. They're not an MOTable item, but cops can be pretty ruthless in this country sometimes, and I don't want to tick any of them off if I'm going too quick down the road or something like that. You know what I mean. Let's not give them any excuses. There you go. Okay. There you go. I've got an idea. Give you an idea where I'm going with this. Terrible circle. Before you all criticise, I know. There you go. Headlight, high beam, low beam, indicator at the very end. That's kind of where I'm going with it on both sides. So we've just got to rivet that down now, and we can call it a day on that. That represents a sill I'm thinking about putting in because it looks a bit weird without something going down there. I don't know, maybe I just got that a little bit too short. Maybe it should have come all the way down. I don't know. I struggled with the mudguards. I made a shape that is so difficult to trim. When I say trim, I mean match something up, you know. Anyway, we've got this to do all over again, this time on the other side, and we'll film that process. If I can persuade the wife to come out with the camera, bit by bit. So this is the kind of thing I had in mind. Chris, hold that camera. You got it?
Yeah, got it.
It won't look right there, but it might work there. That sort of thing is what I'm referring to. Make it that angle. Cool. Okay, it's Saturday. We've got the last day before I upload. So today we're going to rivet that down, all that alley, and we're going to bolt that back into place, and we're also going to use some of that and we're going to rivet that underneath. And that's pretty much all I'm doing to that. I'm also going to collect some steel tubing because I'd like to have a go, maybe today, maybe Monday, I don't know yet, making up a couple of rock sliders. I won't be able to put them fully on because there's nowhere at this point to join them onto that I can see other than that bracket down there. But I think we're going to come off from that corner, work our way across, so there'll be a bend over there, and then another bend here to come out, and then that step's going to go in place. And I was going to fill that in, but I kind of changed my mind on that. Might put a few cross braces, but that's about as far as I will go with it if I do. Monday is when I'll pick this up again, do the other side. I was even debating about trying to put the bull bar back on, but that isn't going to be possible to do at the moment either. Well, I say that, if I can get that bracket to fit there on both sides, then that can be welded back onto that at a lower point, cut the tubing off there, but it does leave me with a bit of a headache what to do with the rest of it. So let's get our backside together and get down the yard. See if I time. Went all the way down the scrapyard and forgot the battery for the cordless drill grinder, so I couldn't cut my metal to bring it back. Pointless. But I did find these side steps. I don't know if I can use them on here. I think possibly we might be going a little bit OTT here. I've got other ideas that I'd like to do with this, subject to the fuel costs. Definitely would like to put a diesel in this at a later date, but at the moment, or a petrol, 2.5 petrol would be good. But for the moment, we need to concentrate on what we started, which is that horrible wing. I really do not know if I like this or not. Honestly, I'm struggling. Keep thinking, do I need to checker plate that side because the welding didn't go so hot? That's all really. I don't know. I have seen some checker plate up there actually, and I think I've got a little in the shed that I might be able to get a few cuts off over here. Possibly. Okie dokes, there you go. And I'll be honest, I don't know if I like that or not, so please comment with no consequences whatsoever on your view on what you think from other subscribers. I need to know, does that look stupid or does that look okay? Have you another idea other than having a wheel arch actually floating over the wheel, which I didn't want? Anything, throw it at me, because I ain't sure about this. I will be starting the other one on Monday, so it'd be nice if you guys could comment up before Monday get here with some blinking ideas, because I think it works. Personally, I think it needs a few accessories added to it. One of the things I was going to do was get a light, an indicator to sit on there, so that will break that empty space up quite a bit. Thinking about checker plating the side as well, and bearing in mind also, and that's hard to say at this point because I haven't done it yet, but I am thinking about putting some bars in underneath there. So we're going to create a sill that go under and then some bars. I would like to put that in there but have that so it flips up and I think it's possible to do. I really do. So I'm going to look at that as an option as well, because I rather like those. I don't want to get rid of them, and I think they'll polish up quite nicely. I can match all the aluminium to that. So yeah, let me just put that bonnet down. Actually, before we do that, obviously there's more stuff to go on. That ain't very straight, I know, but I want that bull bar a little lower so it's not hiding the grill up. And that bar there that you see that I've already done, I was actually planning to move that piece here down to there, coming out, with another piece coming up, so that the lines on the arches match. So I suppose at this point in time, this is too early to say where this is heading, to whether it's going to be rubbish or not. The problem is, once I built them, both of the arches, that's it. We're not doing anything else. So next week, if I'm in the mood, I will do another video very similar to the last one we did, because that one has now hit 200 views when I last looked, with 22 likes, and they are starting to be the numbers and figures that I have been looking for a long while. That's quite amazing that this is more popular than that pile of crap out the front that I call a motorhome. So yeah, thank you ever so much, guys and girls. In fact, I'll put the camera on. Thank you very much for all the likes that you have given, much appreciated, and we'll see you next week when we do the other wheel arch. Bye.